Most people wake up every morning and ask the same question in a dozen different ways. What can I drink? What can I take to finally start burning this stubborn fat? They scroll through endless headlines promising the next miracle: apple cider vinegar, lemon water, green tea, butter coffee. But deep down, they know something isn't adding up, because if these things truly melted fat instantly, we'd all be lean by now. So today, I want to tell you the truth about the hash, one morning drink that supports fat loss, not through magic, but through the quiet intelligence of your own metabolism. And I'll give you one simple daily routine that can change how your body burns energy for the rest of your life. Before we reveal that drink, let's pause for a moment. Why do most people, even those who try everything, still gain weight as they age? Why does the same breakfast that worked at 25 suddenly lead to belly fat at 55? Think about that for a moment. The answer lies in one hormone, insulin. Insulin is like a storage manager for your body. When it's high, your body locks fat away in a vault. When it's low, the vault opens and your body can finally use that fat for energy. Most people are unknowingly keeping that vault locked from morning till night, and it all begins with the first thing they drink each morning. This is where most people go wrong. They think energy comes from calories, but in reality your body runs on rhythm, like a thermostat. It adjusts between store mode and burn mode. The drink you start your day with can tip that thermostat in one direction for the next 12 hours. Imagine this: you wake up and your body is finally in a gentle fat-burning state after the night's rest. But the moment you pour that tall glass of orange juice or add sugar and cream to your coffee, insulin spikes and the vault locks again. Your body says, "We're storing, not burning." It's like working hard to earn money all night, then handing it to the bank teller and saying, "Please, lock it away, don't let me use it." So what's the hash one morning drink that supports fat loss naturally? It's not coffee, not tea, not some exotic powder, it's water. Yes, plain, clean, mineral-rich water. But here's what nobody tells you: it's not just about hydration, it's about timing, temperature, and intention. You see, when you drink water first thing in the morning before anything else, you're sending a powerful signal to your metabolism. You're saying, "We're not feeding yet, we're cleansing, waking, balancing." Your digestive system relaxes, your liver begins to flush glycogen waste, and your fat-burning hormones start to rise. Think about it like starting your car engine. If you pour syrup into the tank first thing in the morning, it will sputter. But if you start with clean fuel, just the right temperature, it hums smoothly. Your body is the same. Let's take the case of one of my patients, Ravi, a 62-year-old retired teacher. He came to me exhausted, frustrated. He was doing everything right: whole grains, fruit smoothies, low-fat milk, but his weight kept creeping up, his energy down. I asked him, "What's the first thing you drink in the morning?" He smiled proudly and said, "Fresh orange juice, it gives me vitamins." When we switched that morning juice for 2 glasses of warm mineral water, followed by a black coffee an hour later, something changed. Within weeks, his fasting insulin dropped, his hunger between meals disappeared, and he began losing fat without changing a single calorie. Why? Because he stopped waking his insulin up every morning. His body finally got permission to enter burn mode. Now, let's add a layer of science. Overnight, your body burns stored glucose to keep blood sugar stable. By morning, insulin is naturally low, cortisol is slightly higher, and your cells are ready to release fat for fuel. If you keep that window insulin quiet, no sugar, no cream, no carbs, your metabolism continues burning fat for hours. Water doesn't raise insulin, it hydrates your cells, improves kidney filtration, and supports your liver's detox enzymes. Think of it like oiling the gears before starting the machine. It doesn't melt fat like ice on a stove, but it allows your body's natural fat burning to stay switched on. Now, you might wonder, what about black coffee or green tea? They can be helpful too, but only after your water and only if you tolerate them well. Caffeine can mildly raise cortisol, which mobilizes fat, but too much can trigger cravings later. Here's a gentle rhythm I recommend for most people between 45 and 75. When you wake up, don't rush to the kitchen. Sit up slowly, stretch, and take a few deep breaths. Then drink 2 full glasses of warm or room temperature water. Add a pinch of mineral salt if you take medication or have been sweating heavily. It helps maintain electrolyte balance. Then wait 45 minutes before any coffee, tea, or food. During that time, let your body fully wake, walk outside if possible, get a few minutes of morning sunlight. This light tells your brain daytime has begun and balances your hormones for the rest of the day. Think about how simple that is. No supplements, no exotic ingredients, just rhythm, light, and water. But here's where most people lose patience. They think, how can plain water help me burn fat? Because we've been trained to look for complicated answers. We've forgotten that the body heals through simplicity. Fat loss isn't about forcing your body to change, it's about allowing it, and allowing means giving it a calm environment, low insulin, proper hydration, steady energy. Now let's talk about how water actually supports fat metabolism. When your body is dehydrated, your liver has to work harder to mobilize fat. The breakdown of fat into usable energy, called lipolysis, requires water. It's like trying to wash dishes without enough water in the sink. The grease just sits there. The moment you hydrate, the system flows. In several studies, people who drank about 500 milliliters, 2 glasses of water before breakfast, increased their metabolic rate by up to 30% for over an hour. Not magic, just physiology. Water activates the sympathetic nervous system slightly, improving circulation and oxygen delivery. Think about that. Your body's own chemistry wakes up and burns energy better without any pill, powder, or promise. But let's stay honest. Water alone won't melt fat if the rest of your day is full of sugar spikes, snacking, and stress. It's the gateway habit, the signal that aligns the rest of your day. Here's the secret. When you start the morning clean, you stop less likely to crave junk later. You already told your body, we are in balance today. Now, before we move to the daily protocol, let's open the senior safety box. For anyone above 60, hydration needs special care. As we age, our thirst signal weakens. That means by the time you feel thirsty, you're already mildly dehydrated. Medications like diuretics, blood pressure pills, and some diabetes drugs can alter how your body handles water and salt. So if you're over 60, always start slow. Sip your water over 10 minutes instead of gulping. Add a pinch of pink salt or electrolyte powder if you feel dizzy or take heart medication, and never overhydrate. More isn't always better. Listen to your body. Now let's create your morning metabolic protocol. Step 1. Wake gently, breathe, and express gratitude. This calms cortisol. Step 2. Drink 500-600 milliliters of warm water with or without minerals. Step 3. Wait 45 minutes before coffee, tea, or food. Step 4. Step outside. Face the morning light for 5-10 minutes. Step 5. Move lightly, stretch, walk, or tidy your space. Do this daily for 21 days and notice how your energy, digestion, and cravings begin to change. The scale may move slowly at first, but the metabolic switch will be turning on quietly underneath. Let's return to Ravi for a moment. 3 months later, he had lost 8 kilos. More importantly, his mind felt sharper, his blood pressure normalized, and his morning fog lifted. He said, "Doctor, I feel lighter before breakfast than I used to feel after dinner." That's when I knew his body had started trusting him again. Your body isn't broken, it's protecting you. When you give it rhythm, it responds with grace. Now here's a final insight most people overlook. When you drink water in the morning, you're not only hydrating the body, you're teaching your mind restraint. You're learning to pause, to nourish before consuming, and that pause, repeated daily, becomes a spiritual practice. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your coffee, give your body that first gift: pure water, calm breath, gentle patience. Watch how the day unfolds differently. Comment the word healing if this message spoke to you. Now that you understand the quiet power of that first morning drink, pure, intentional water, let's go a little deeper. Because once you grasp what hydration really means to your metabolism, you start seeing your whole day differently. You see, fat loss isn't only about calories or willpower, it's about cellular communication. Each of your trillions of cells speaks a chemical language, sending messages like store or release, build or repair. Water is the medium of that conversation. Without it, the messages get scrambled. Think about a radio that's slightly out of tune. You can still hear the song, but it's fuzzy. The same thing happens inside your body when you're even mildly dehydrated. Hormones like insulin, cortisol, and leptin begin to misfire. The body gets confused. It starts holding on to fat not because it wants to, but because it doesn't trust the environment. But when your cells are hydrated, those messages become clear. Insulin sensitivity improves. Fat cells receive the signal, it's safe to release energy again. Most people don't realize this simple truth: dehydration can mimic hunger. Your brain reads both signals through the same pathway. So when you think you're hungry mid-morning, your body might actually just be asking for water. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you eaten breakfast, felt full, and still found yourself craving snacks? It's not weakness, it's miscommunication. This is where water becomes your ally. When you drink water before your morning coffee or meal, you're re-establishing that clarity. You're resetting the conversation between your brain and body. Now here's where things get interesting. When your insulin levels stay low through the morning, your mitochondria, the little engines in your cells, start using stored fat for energy. This process, called beta oxidation, runs more efficiently in a hydrated state. In other words, water is not melting fat, it's enabling the engine that burns it. Imagine a campfire. If the wood is too damp, it won't burn. But if it's too dry, it burns too fast and smokes. Water in your body works the same way. It keeps the internal fire balanced. Now, most people have been told that hydration is only about avoiding thirst. That's not true. It's about optimizing the terrain where all metabolism happens. Your blood, your lymph, your interstitial fluid, they're all mostly water. The better this fluid flows, the easier nutrients and hormones can move, and the faster waste can leave. Let me share a story. A patient of mine, Angela, 58 years old, came in complaining of fatigue and constant sugar cravings. She drank coffee all day long, maybe one glass of water if she remembered. Her lab results showed mild insulin resistance and borderline fatty liver. We made one change. For 30 days before every cup of coffee, she had to drink 2 glasses of warm water with a pinch of sea salt. No fancy supplements, no strict diet, just hydration discipline. By week 3, her sugar cravings dropped sharply. She said, "Doctor, I can finally go 4 hours without needing a snack." Her fasting insulin improved and her energy returned. She didn't just lose fat, she regained rhythm. Think about that. Your body was designed for rhythm, not constant stimulation. Each sip of water before a meal is a pause, a signal of safety. But here's what nobody tells you about water. It also affects how your body absorbs sunlight. Strange, isn't it? Yet the water inside your cells, especially around the mitochondria, acts like a lens. It absorbs light frequencies that influence energy production. Morning sunlight plus water, it's nature's simplest metabolic booster. That's why I often tell patients, done depths, just drink your water, meet the sun while you do it. Step outside, let light hit your eyes and skin for a few minutes. The combination tells your body we are alive, safe, and ready to burn energy. Now you might be wondering, doctor, what if I add lemon to my water, or salt, or apple cider vinegar? Good question. These additions can be helpful if done with purpose. A squeeze of lemon provides citric acid, which supports liver detox pathways and may help reduce cravings. A pinch of natural salt adds minerals that maintain nerve function and prevent dizziness. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar before meals can slightly lower the blood sugar spike from food. But remember, none of these are magic. They are simply small nudges that support your natural balance. What matters most is not the ingredient, it's the sequence. Hydrate first, feed later. Here's a common mistake I see. People wake up and drink lemon water with honey. They think it's healthy, but that spoon of honey breaks the fasting state immediately. Insulin rises, fat burning stops, and the vault closes again. So here's my advice. If you want to use lemon or vinegar, add just enough for flavor, not sweetness. Keep insulin asleep a little longer. Let's bring in a bit of gentle science again. Researchers have found that during fasting or early morning hours, your fat cells release something called free fatty acids, fuel for your muscles and brain. But if insulin spikes, this release is blocked. Hydration helps this process because it keeps blood viscosity low. Your body can transport those fatty acids efficiently. In plain English, water keeps the roads open so your fat can leave town. This is where most people go wrong. They skip breakfast but sip on sweetened coffee or juice. They think they're fasting, but insulin doesn't care what the label says, it only listens to sugar. So if you want to continue fat burning until your first meal, keep that morning window pure, water, minerals, sunlight, calm. Now for those who are in their 60s and 70s, there's another layer to consider: medication timing. Many blood pressure and thyroid medications need to be taken in the morning with water. That's fine, just don't combine them with sugary drinks or milk. Use plain water, wait 20-30 minutes, and then proceed with your hydration routine. If you take diuretics, ask your doctor if you can adjust timing so you're not losing all your electrolytes at once. Remember, hydration isn't just about water, it's about balance. Let's talk about the emotional side for a moment. When you replace your morning rush with mindful hydration, something profound happens. You slow down. You stop chasing energy from external sources and start trusting your body again. Many of my patients tell me, "Doctor, I used to feel panicked until I had my first coffee." After a few weeks of the water protocol, they say, "Now I feel calm before coffee even touches my lips." That's healing. Think about that. Your body begins to trust that you will nourish it, not shock it awake. So how can you make this a sustainable ritual? Create a hydration corner in your home. Keep a glass bottle or mug ready beside your bed or in the kitchen. The visual cue helps your mind remember. The night before, fill it and set your intention. Tomorrow, I start my day with clarity. Every habit begins with intention. Water simply makes it visible. Let's also talk about temperature, because this often confuses people. Cold water can be refreshing, but warm or room temperature water is gentler on digestion, especially as we age. It stimulates bile flow and prepares your liver to metabolize fat more efficiently. Think of it like preheating an oven before cooking. One of my 70-year-old patients, Marie, used to suffer from bloating every morning. When she switched from cold bottled water to warm filtered water, her digestion improved dramatically. She said, "It feels like my stomach finally wakes up kindly." That's the difference between forcing and guiding your body. Now here's a gentle reminder for anyone struggling with weight loss. Fat loss is a side effect of balance. When you hydrate, sleep well, and lower insulin, your body naturally finds its healthy weight. Don't chase the number, chase the rhythm. Because the truth is, your metabolism is not broken. It's just confused by constant noise. Hydration is the silence it needs to remember its wisdom. You might be thinking, but doctor, I've been drinking water all my life. Why haven't said I lost weight yet? And here's the honest answer. It's not just the water, it's the context. It's when, how, and why you drink it. Drinking water after a heavy meal doesn't have the same effect as drinking it during fasting. It's about timing. Hydration works best when insulin is low. That's why that first drink of the morning is so powerful. It meets your body at its most sensitive moment. So here's a small experiment. For the next 7 mornings, do nothing fancy. Just wake up, drink 2 glasses of water, wait an hour before coffee or food, and notice what happens. Observe not just your weight, but your mood, your clarity, your cravings. I promise you'll begin to sense something subtle, a calm focus, a lighter energy, a quiet confidence in your own biology. Because when your body finally feels safe to burn fat, it doesn't need your permission, it just does what it's always known how to do. Now, a small but important word of caution for my senior friends: if you wake up feeling dizzy or if you're on multiple medications, check your blood pressure occasionally. Hydration changes circulation, and your dosage might need adjustment over time. Work with your doctor. Healing is a partnership, not a race. Let's close this section with one deeper reflection. Water is not just chemistry, it's consciousness. It carries memory, intention, energy. When you drink it with awareness, you're not just hydrating your cells, you're nourishing your spirit. Every sip can be a small prayer. I am ready to cleanse, to heal, to let go. So tomorrow morning, hold that glass of water gently. Take a breath before drinking. Feel gratitude for life, for healing, for this body that never stops trying to protect you. You are not too old to change. You are not too late to heal. By now, you've learned that your first morning drink, simple water, can do something extraordinary. It can change how your metabolism starts the day. But what happens next, what unfolds in your body over the next few hours, is where the real transformation takes place. Most people don't realize that the hours between waking and your first meal are the most metabolically powerful window of your entire day. This is when your body has the freedom to decide, will I burn fat today or store it? Think about that. Each morning you stand at a crossroads. One small choice, the first thing you drink, decides the direction your body travels for the next 10 to 12 hours. Now that you're hydrating first, you've already taken the first step into burn mode. But what if you could extend that state a little longer? What if, without stress, without skipping life, you could teach your body to become a better fat burner? This is where fasting meets hydration, and together they become a quiet medicine. Let's talk about how this actually works. After 8 hours of sleep, your body's insulin is low. Your liver has burned through some of its stored glycogen. When you wake up and don't eat immediately, your body starts switching fuels from glucose to fat. It begins to release stored fatty acids and even small amounts of ketones to feed your brain. But here's the key. This transition from sugar burning to fat burning can feel uncomfortable at first. Fatigue, irritability, hunger pangs. That's where hydration is crucial. When you drink water in the morning during this fasting window, you're not just quenching thirst, you're smoothing the gears of the metabolic shift. Hydration helps your kidneys flush out byproducts like urea and acids that accumulate during fat metabolism. It keeps your blood volume stable and prevents the headaches many people blame on fasting. Most people who say fasting isn't for me were actually just dehydrated. Think about it. If your cells are like engines, water is the coolant. Without it, they overheat and you feel miserable. But when hydrated, your metabolism hums smoothly in the background. Here's something fascinating. Studies show that people who drink water during the early fasting window maintain higher rates of lipolysis, the breakdown of stored fat, not because the water burns fat, but because it keeps the body calm and balanced enough to stay in the fat-burning zone longer. Now you might wonder, but one said I feel weak if I skip breakfast. Let me tell you about Helen, one of my patients. She's stitch 67, a retired nurse. When we first met, she was constantly tired. Every morning she eats cereal and skim milk at 7 a.m. Doctor, she said, if I skip breakfast, I feel dizzy. We started gently. First week she replaced her morning cereal with water and waited just 30 minutes before eating. Second week she stretched that to an hour, sipping water and walking outside. Third week she made it to 10 a.m. before her first meal. And something changed. The dizziness disappeared. Her energy went up. Her blood sugar normalized. Why? Because her body had relearned how to use stored fat as fuel. I remember her words. Doctor, I feel young again. My mornings aren't set about food, they set about peace. That's what this is about, peace between you and your metabolism. But here's what nobody tells you. When you combine morning hydration with gentle fasting, you're not just burning fat, you're also cleaning your cells through a process called autophagy. Now, don't let that word scare you. Think of autophagy as your body's internal housekeeping. Every cell has little recycling bins where old proteins and damaged mitochondria are broken down and reused. But this cleanup only happens when insulin is low. Water doesn't interrupt this process, it supports it, it helps flush out the waste your cells release. It's like turning on the plumbing while the cleaning crew works. And here's the deeper beauty. When your body is well hydrated, your blood becomes less viscous. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Oxygen travels more freely. Your mitochondria, those microscopic power plants, start generating energy more efficiently. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two car engines. One is well oiled, the other is dry. Both start fine, but one runs smoothly, quietly, efficiently. That's the difference hydration makes at the cellular level. Many people think fatigue is just about age or poor sleep, but often it's about sluggish mitochondria, tiny engines clogged with metabolic waste. Water and fasting clear those engines. Think about that. You're not only losing weight, you're renewing the energy systems that have been slowing down for decades. Now let's touch on something few people talk about: electrical energy. Every cell in your body runs on tiny electrical gradients, positive and negative charges that allow nutrients and signals to move. This electricity depends on water and minerals. When you're dehydrated, it's like trying to run a city with low voltage. That's why a small pinch of salt in your morning water, especially sea salt or Himalayan salt, can make a difference for seniors. It replenishes sodium and trace minerals lost overnight. This helps stabilize blood pressure and nerve transmission. But please, a word of caution in our senior safety box. If you have kidney disease, heart failure, or are on diuretics, always check with your doctor before adding salt. In those cases, plain water or a mild electrolyte solution may be safer. Balance is everything. Now let's explore something profound that science is just beginning to confirm: your body's metabolic memory. When you repeat this morning rhythm, hydration, light, calm, delayed eating, your body begins to anticipate it. It learns that the mornings are for cleansing, not consuming. After a few weeks, hunger itself shifts. Instead of waking up starving, you wake up clear. Instead of craving sugar, you crave peace. This is when transformation becomes effortless. You're no longer fighting your body, you're aligned with it. But here's where most people go wrong. They start with enthusiasm, but they treat this morning routine like a short-term trick instead of a lifelong rhythm. They expect instant fat loss, and when the scale doesn't move fast enough, they quit. The truth is, this process isn't about losing weight, it's about losing confusion. Once your metabolism regains clarity, weight loss follows as a natural outcome. Think of your metabolism like a foggy mirror. Each morning of hydration and fasting wipes away a little fog. Slowly, you begin to see yourself clearly again. Now, let's talk about the mental and emotional shift that happens during this practice. When you start your day without rushing for food, your mind becomes sharper. Your body isn't busy digesting, it's focused. Many ancient traditions, Ayurveda, Buddhism, early Christian fasting, recognize this. They all began the day with water, silence, and reflection. Modern science now explains why fasting increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which supports memory and learning. Hydration helps the brain deliver nutrients and clear waste through the glymphatic system. So that morning water isn't just for your waistline, it's for your brain. I once had a patient, Mark 72, who came to me not for weight loss but for mental fog. He said, "Doctor, I can think clearly anymore. I feel like my mind sits underwater." Ironically, he wasn't drinking enough water. Just 2 cups of coffee all morning. We began the same simple routine: 2 glasses of warm water on waking, then a 90-minute fasting window before coffee. Within 3 weeks, he called me, "My thoughts feel organized again." His wife said he was more cheerful, more alert. He didn't just hydrate his body. He rehydrated his brain. Now I know what you kept thinking. "Doctor, this sounds too simple. Just water and timing." Yes, it's simple, but it's not easy, because simplicity requires consistency. Here sips the thing. Your body sips wisdom is quiet. It doesn't sip to shout. It whispers. Every glass of morning water is a conversation with that wisdom. You sip to saying, "I sipped, I'm ready to listen." So that's your morning expansion routine for this next phase. Step 1. Upon waking, drink 500-600 milliliters of warm water. Step 2. Step outside for sunlight or bright light 5 to 10 minutes. Step 3. Wait at least 60 minutes before coffee or tea. Step 4. Extend your first meal gradually from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., then 10 a.m. as your body adapts. Step 5. During that fasting window, hydrate every 30-45 minutes with small sips. This is not punishment, it's a return to nature's rhythm. Your ancestors did not wake up to breakfast cereal. They woke up, moved, drank from rivers, gathered light, and ate later after their bodies were fully awake. You're simply remembering that pattern. And here's something wonderful: once your body adjusts, that first meal of the day will taste better than it ever has. Food becomes sacred again, not a reflex. Let's pause here for a moment. Think about the simplicity of what we've discussed. Water, light, timing, no pills, no powders, no gimmicks, just rhythm and trust. Healing often hides in plain sight. So if you're listening to this and wondering whether it's too late to change, please hear this. Your metabolism doesn't age, it adapts. It only waits for new instructions, and every sip of morning water is a new instruction. Your body is always listening. You might have spent decades fighting it, with diets, guilt, confusion, but now perhaps for the first time you can simply partner with it. So tomorrow morning, don't rush. Sit quietly, feel the weight of the glass in your hand. Take that first sip slowly. Let it remind you. This is the beginning of healing. Your body isn't against you. It's been waiting for you to slow down and listen. By now, you've come a long way on this quiet journey of rediscovering your own metabolism. You've learned that the most powerful morning drink isn't a secret potion or a celebrity trend. It's water, simple, ancient, and alive. But more importantly, you've learned that it's not about the drink itself. It's about what it represents: awareness, rhythm, trust. Now let's bring everything together, because understanding is one thing, but transformation happens through consistency. Let's revisit what's really happening inside you every morning when you choose this path. You wake up. Your body has just completed a night of deep repair. Insulin is calm. Growth hormone is still active. Your liver is sweeping through old glycogen stores. Your brain is clearing waste through the glymphatic system like janitors working after hours. And then you open your eyes. This is a sacred moment, a new beginning. If at that moment you flood your system with sugar or stimulants, the cleaning stops. The body switches from healing to storing. But when you reach instead for pure water, when you give your body space to finish what it started, the healing continues into the day. Think of it like a construction site. The workers have been rebuilding your metabolism all night. Morning water is your way of saying, keep going, don't stop now. That's how fat loss truly begins. Quietly, gently, through cooperation, not struggle. Now, many people ask me, Doctor, can I add something to my water for faster results? And I always smile because they're still thinking of water as a tool to lose fat, not as a language to talk to the body. Of course, you can personalize it. Some days, a squeeze of lemon for taste and liver support. Other days, a few slices of cucumber or mint for refreshment. On hot days, a pinch of salt for minerals. But never forget, it's not the ingredient that heals, it's the intention behind it. Drink slowly, feel gratitude. Let the water meet every cell with presence. Now let's talk about what happens after your morning drink, because this is where many people lose momentum. After those 2 glasses of water and a calm hour, your body is ready for your first meal. But the quality of that meal decides whether you keep burning fat or shut the door again. If you break your fast with processed carbohydrates, toast, cereal, juice, insulin rises sharply, undoing the work your body just did. Instead, choose foods that keep you in fat-burning mode longer: eggs, avocado, olive oil, nuts, vegetables, real food, stable food. Think of your body as a fire you've carefully lit in the morning. Don't throw damp wood on it, feed it steady fuel. One of my longtime patients, Samuel, 64, followed this exact rhythm. He used to wake up with joint stiffness, heartburn, and low mood. He started with water, delayed breakfast for an hour, and switched his first meal to eggs, greens, and olive oil. Within 2 months, his energy transformed. His inflammation markers dropped. His doctor reduced his medication dosage. He told me, Doctor, I don't feel 64 anymore. I feel like I've been given another lease on life. That's what rhythm does. It restores youthfulness, not just physically, but emotionally. But here's what nobody tells you about this kind of healing. It's not linear. Some mornings you'll feel light and powerful. Other days you'll feel sluggish or doubt yourself. That's normal. Healing isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. You revisit old patterns, but each time with more awareness. Think about that the next time you slip. Your body isn't punishing you, it's testing your consistency. Let's go deeper now, because hydration isn't just about fat loss, it's about vitality. Water affects your blood viscosity, which affects how oxygen travels to your cells. It affects your lymphatic flow, your digestion, even how your joints move. People often say, I'm stiff because I'm old. But much of that stiffness is dehydration, connective tissues that have lost flexibility because they've lost water. Picture your joints like sponges. When well hydrated, they glide. When dry, they grind. That's why many of my older patients, after a few weeks of proper hydration, tell me, Doctor, my knees don't crack as much or my back pain feels lighter. It's not magic, it's physics. Let's take a gentle detour into the deeper science of this. Inside your cells, water doesn't just float around randomly, it forms a structured layer, almost like a gel, around proteins and membranes. This structured water, often called exclusion zone water, acts like a battery. It stores and transmits energy. The more hydrated you are, the stronger that internal battery becomes. That's why, when you start your day with water, you often notice not just less hunger, but more focus, clarity, and calm. You've literally recharged your internal batteries. Now, let's not forget the spiritual dimension. Water is ancient. It's the same water that has cycled through rivers, clouds, and oceans for billions of years. Every drop you drink has traveled the world and touched countless forms of life. When you drink consciously, you connect to that ancient rhythm, something much bigger than metabolism or fat loss. you connect to life itself. I often tell my patients, don't just drink water, receive it. Close your eyes for a second when you sip. Feel gratitude for the fact that you can. So many people can't. This act alone can shift your nervous system into calm, from fight and flight into rest and heal. That shift lowers cortisol, reduces emotional eating, and improves digestion. You see, the same water that hydrates your cells can also soften your heart. Now let's open the senior safety box one last time. If you're over 65, your body's thirst signal can become unreliable. You might not feel thirsty even when dehydrated. So here's a gentle guide. Aim for small sips of water throughout the day instead of large gulps at once. Pay attention to the color of your urine. Pale yellow means hydrated. Dark means you need more. If you take diuretics, kidney medications, or blood pressure pills, discuss your ideal water intake with your doctor. Sometimes, a few ounces too much or too little can make a big difference. And remember, you can hydrate through foods too. Cucumbers, lettuce, melons, soups, all count. You don't need to drown yourself in water, you just need to stay steady. Now, as we come toward the end of this journey, I want to leave you with something deeper, a way to carry this wisdom beyond the morning. Every morning glass of water is a metaphor for life itself. You begin the day empty, open, ready to receive. What you fill yourself with, physically, emotionally, spiritually, decides the tone of your day. When you choose simplicity and awareness, your body relaxes. When you choose noise and rush, your body resists. Fat loss, energy, longevity, these are side effects of alignment. So tomorrow morning when you stand at the sink or by your bedside table, take that glass and pause. Look at it for a moment. This is your medicine, your ritual, your reminder. Drink slowly, breathe deeply. Feel your heart soften and tell yourself, I am cleansing, I am healing, I am home in my body. Because you are. You see, this practice isn't just about water, it's about rewriting your relationship with your body from judgment to gratitude. Most of us spend our lives fighting our own biology. We call it lazy, broken, slow. But your body has never once worked against you. Even that stubborn fat you've carried, it's not punishment, it's protection. It's your body's way of saying, I was saving this for you, for when you were ready to heal. And now you are. Think about that for a moment. Your body has waited years, maybe decades, for this partnership, for you to stop fighting and start listening. So let this morning ritual be your peace treaty. Each sip says, I sipped them with you now. Over time, this small act will ripple into every corner of your life. You'll notice your appetite changing, your sleep deepening, your patience growing. You'll start feeling lighter not just in body but in spirit. And that, my friend, is true fat loss, when the heaviness of the body and the heaviness of the heart both begin to dissolve. So let's close together with a reflection. Tomorrow morning, before the world rushes in, before the phone, the noise, the headlines, just sit with your water, listen to your breath, feel gratitude that you woke up again. You have another chance to start clean, another chance to heal. And if this message spoke to your heart, if something inside you feels ready to begin, then comment the word healing below, because that word is not just a comment, it's a commitment. You and I and everyone listening are part of a quiet movement, one that believes in natural rhythm, in self-trust, in healing that begins not with fear, but with understanding. So go gently, my friend. Drink slowly, live kindly. Trust the wisdom within you. Your body knows the way home.